Hey there everyone, AJ back again for the Mighty Gluestick channel. I make videos about Dungeons & Dragons lore full-time and have a collection of hundreds of monster ecology and strategy videos on my channel, including a complete list A to Z of all the monsters in the monster manual. If you like what I do, please consider subscribing as I upload at least twice a week. Just a short video today to fill in a gap in the lore of the Cambions and the Tieflings, and as a part of my ongoing quest to present lore on every known demon in the D&D multiverse, or at least the printed lore. So today, let's talk about the Alu Demon. They first appeared, the appearance of the Alu Demon is in the module of the Lost Caverns of Sojanth, published in 1982. Alu Demons or Alu Fiends then appear in the second monster manual for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, later appearing with some variances in the Monstrous Compendium of the Outer Planes Appendix and the Monstrous Compendium Planner Appendix after 3rd edition. A more generic and less gender-specific division saw the term Alu Demon sidelined in favour of the half-fiend template. The last instance of the Alu Fiend appearing in any print was as the Alu Demon template included in Dragon Magazine number 355 in May 2007. This one was really hard for me to find, as I typically skip over the Scale Mail Reader's Correspondence section, but that's where the template's found. It's a response from one of the authors talking about why it wasn't included in one of his previous works. In a nutshell, looking at the Cambion listing for 5th edition D&D, I would say that this works just fine, but to alter things a little if you want, to replace the Fire Ray power with a touch attack that drains the same amount of damage as negative energy damage type, and provides the Alu Demon with half that much damage inflicted as a boost of temporary hit points to itself, as it drains the vitality out of its victim. Also, replace the spell Command with Charm Person, castable 3 times per day, while still keeping the fiendish charm ability. And there you go, you now have an Alu Demon or Alu Fiend. The other thing about them is that they typically appear much like their mortal parent race. So they have wings and sometimes a tail, maybe even small horns on their forehead, but otherwise they don't have scales or red skin. Typically they don't have fangs or claws and such in their natural form. Plus they spend most of their time concealing their otherworldly traits using magic and disguise to better blend in with the mortals. And yes, they do need to drain life from other beings in order to properly nourish themselves every now and then, but otherwise they eat and drink like regular people. Because Alu Demons are, according to D&D tradition, the female offspring resulting from the mating of a succubus and mortal male, a male child would be called a Cambion. However, it's not strictly a succubus child. For instance, Grast's daughter Thraxia appears in her natural form as an Alu Fiend. Alu Demons in their original cultural mythology, though, are quite different, and a fine example of how Dungeons & Dragons game lore is not in any way a reliable or factual depiction of whatever monster name has been borrowed from existing real-world myths and legends. I get this a lot from people referring to real-world mythology and stuff when they're replying or complaining about something that I'm talking about in Dungeons & Dragons. It's not the same. The name is taken from the ancient Babylonian and Assyrian folklore, with variations on the cultural accounts due to the various stories in their folklore, and also their cultures existed for quite a long time. Quoting here from the Encyclopedia of Demons and World Religions and Cultures by Teresa Bain, an excellent ebook, by the way. Born a mortal man, Alu became a nocturnal demon according to Babylonian and Semitic demonology. Each night he was said to wander the dark streets seeking out prey, following a person back to their home and slipping inside behind them unseen. As the person is about to fall asleep, he appears and threatens to crush them to death with his enormous bulk if they close their eyes. Alu lurks in the corners of rooms, dark caves, and dimly lit streets. So this was a specific demon named Alu. Then, also from the same culture, and again a quote, an invisible demonic vampire from ancient Babylon. The Alu is said to attack its victims, who are men, at night while they sleep. Its victims awake the next day ill and feeling drained of energy. And that is why the name is tied in with the succubi in D&D monster lore. I can't stress enough to people that it is vital to research the history of any folklore, mythology, or religion in order to understand where it comes from and how often the same themes are borrowed and rehashed in all the different cultures and religions around the world. Honestly, it's a real eye-opener when you see how copied and pasted they all are, and by all means, believe what you want to believe, but at least show some due diligence and research this stuff for your own sake, and for the sake of my comments section, I'm looking at you, Succulus video. For an example of an Alu fiend in Forgotten Realms lore, Alyssa, the servant and consort of half-demon Cainir Volk, the leader of the Scoured Legion, and she and he spent many years trapped together beneath Hellgate Keep, and she was a friend to the fallen astral diva Tauren, and she was also the mother of Kale, the Knight of Torm. This is lore from Hellgate Keep, the novels Insurrection and The Fractured Sky and Annihilation and Condemnation, and the War of the Spider Queen events. Alyssa was originally chaotic evil, but changed a fair bit over the years, particularly when she ended up imprisoned in Celestia in the House of the Triad. She appears as a very attractive human female with lustrous black and curled hair, sea-green eyes, and sharply defined eyebrows. Her true form includes a pair of black demon wings, but no tail or horns. Instead, she has sharp fangs. She prefers to wear a tight black leather corset and may wear a red dress or black leather leggings. She has some unusual powers, even for an Alu, such as being able to summon interdimensional portals. She carries daggers in her boots and also has a magical spellblade longsword, which towards the end of her career had a finger in a secret compartment within it. There's obviously a story behind that. And a ring of protection on the third finger of her left hand. Plus, she carried a whistle that commanded the Scoured Legion. Now, since she is very much involved in a lot of great novels, I will forego talking about any further detail about her, because I don't want to spoil them. You should go ahead and read those D&D stories. The Hellgate Keep and Spider War Chronicles are all pretty good reads. Just the story of the Astral Diva Tauren and his fall from grace is worth the reading. Considering my last video included Astral Divas, and I had some folks asking me about how they end up falling, or how the Arinyes came to be, and so on. Player characters and both fiends and celestials can change their alignment, folks. They're not locked into being the same forever, and neither is your player character. People change over time. All intelligent beings do. For the most part, I'm in favour of the game lore moving away from strictly defining creatures, particularly the intelligent beings of the outer planes, by their alignment. It is overly manufactured and can really hamper a lot of good story elements. Plus, the planes and all their cultures work perfectly well without individual restrictions like that. That's my personal opinion, and it tends to be the way that the novels and the gameplay work out, with the source books and monster manuals slowly catching up over time. Many more demons to cover. I'm actually researching one on Baphomet right now. So much more lore to cover. Just to give you some idea of how much source material there is, just the Forgotten Realms wiki alone has over 23,000 pages of information. Let that sink in for a moment. Please hit the like button if you like what I do. Subscribe. Check out my Patreon for some exclusive content and all the full scripts for these videos. Buy some merchandise. Wear your geek with pride, and as always, thanks for listening, and I'll be back with more for you very soon.